All right, it's the Keefe to the City Yankees podcast, and the Yankees lose in embarrassing, disturbing, upsetting, humiliating fashion. They get routed 12-2 by the White Sox on Monday in Chicago. The White Sox, who are on pace to be the worst team in the modern era of baseball, going back to the beginning of the 1900s. They were on pace to win just 38 games entering Monday night before they destroyed the Yankees and finished with 124 losses, and the Yankees just got blown out. Blown out. The 12 runs were the most the White Sox have scored this season, just the second time all season they've even hit double digits. It was their biggest margin of victory in the season. It was manager Grady Sizemore's first victory as a manager, period. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. The offense was abysmal. Luis Gil was horrible. The bullpen was a disaster. It was just a really disgusting effort all around from the Yankees in a game that they should have won. I mean, I think they were like minus 360, maybe minus 380 the last time I saw. That's absurd for a Major League Baseball line. And to lose that game is just unacceptable. It's unacceptable. The way they've played now in these 10 games in August, 5-5 against the Blue Jays, Angels, Rangers, and White Sox, none of those four teams hold a playoff spot. None of those four teams are going to the playoffs, and the Yankees are 500 against them in a month where they could have gotten fat in the win column, could have created separation against the Orioles, who have a much harder schedule, could have built themselves a nice lead in the division, and could have made sure that no matter what, they'd at least be a wild card team by the end of the season. They've done none of that. And sure, there's still 2/3 of the month left, and they've got a lot of bad opponents left, but does anyone feel like this team can go and beat up on teams they're supposed to beat up, take care of business against teams they're supposed to take care of business against? I don't know how you could with the way they play. To lose by 10 runs to the White Sox? This isn't just a bad team. This is the worst team in the history of Major League Baseball. The Yankees will never play 3 easier games than Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Maybe ever. Because I don't know that another team will ever rival them in terms of the low amount of wins and the high amount of losses they're expected. The Yankees had 9 hits in the game, 11 walks, 20 base runners, and 2 of them scored. They went 2 for 18 with runners in scoring position. They stranded 18 runners in the game. But when you ask Aaron Boone about the offense, the delusion with him was at an all-time high.
Just not able to break through. I mean, that wasn't the issue. We couldn't keep them off the board.
How is that not the issue? It was the issue. The offense was an issue. The pitching was an issue. Together, collectively, they were the issue. The entire game from the Yankees was the issue. You can't score 2 runs and win. Even against a White Sox team that came into the game averaging 3.08 runs per game. 3 runs a game they score on average. So 2 runs wasn't even going to cut it against that. 2 runs. But that's all right. For all the guys the Yankees left on base, Boone thought the offense was fine. He thought the at-bats were good.
You know, offensively, we had the right at-bats. We pressured.
The right at-bats. The first 3 hitters of the game for the Yankees reached base. Only one of them scored. Because the next 3 hitters all popped up. After that, in the second inning, they had runners on the corners with 1 out. Soto popped up. The third inning, they had first and second with 1 out. Hit into an inning-ending double play. The fourth inning, first 2 hitters walked. Then Alex Verdugo, on his own doing, tried to lay down a bunt inexplicably. I don't know what he's doing there. Pops it up to the pitcher. In the 5th and 6th innings, they left the runner in scoring position. In the 7th, they left the runner on. Loaded the bases in the 8th, couldn't score. Stranded 2 runners in the 9th, couldn't score. But hey, they had the right at-bats all game.
Could have been one of those nights where we threw a lot of crooked numbers up there.
Could have had a lot of runs, could have put up a crooked number, could have done this, could have done that. You didn't. And the Yankees became the first team in the organization's history to have 20-plus base runners in a game and score 2 or fewer runs since the franchise became known as the Yankees 113 years ago. Just a despicable performance. And not only that, they lost a half game in the standings because the Orioles didn't play. So now they're a half game back of them. But they're really 1.5 games back because the Orioles have the tiebreaker for head-to-head. So they can't tie the Orioles because they'll end up in the wild card series anyway. But right now they just need to focus on making sure they get to the wild card series. Playing 500 baseball against the Blue Jays, Angels, Rangers, and White Sox is certainly not a way to get there. So the Yankees will try to avoid losing a second game to the White Sox on Tuesday night. Nestor Cortes goes with his 6.08 road ERA. Anyone feel good about that? And then on Wednesday, they don't have a starter. They're just going to go with a bullpen game, with a bullpen that's been an utter disaster pretty much the entire season. This was a series that anything less than a sweep would have been humiliating. And given the way Cortes has pitched, given the way this bullpen's pitched, I don't know how you could feel good about either of their pitching plans for the next 2 days. Losing this series will just be the icing on the cake of this free fall that started in June. Getting swept, I don't even know how any Yankees fan could handle getting swept by the White Sox. But that's on the table now because the Yankees lost the first game. So that'll do it for today. Yankees, White Sox at it again on Tuesday night. No idea what to expect, but I'll be back after the game to talk about it. Thanks for listening. Talk to you after the game.